Hello friends, welcome to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Jody and I think we're gonna do a day in the life vlog today.
Yeah, you little tease.
I was actually debating earlier if I wanted to do a vlog today because I knew I really couldn't start it like earlier in the morning. It had to be later. We had some personal items or personal business going on earlier. And so I just decided, you know what? Let's get this going. Let's get this show on the road. I am starting this though about 11 o'clock, so it's not gonna be like a full day, but we'll try to pack as much in there as we can, I guess, for you. Pack as much action in there as we can. I'm just kidding, I'm just being silly. At this point, my husband and I, we just got back, and so I do want to put a few dishes away. We did pick up a few things at the store, just a few fruits actually, and put those away. And then I also want to get early lunch because I want to go to a coffee shop for a little bit to do some work. So if you know me at all though, you know I don't really drink coffee, and so it'll be a tea shop for me. All right, let's just go do the dishes, okay? All right, so this is the haul that we got at the store. Got some Granny Smith apples because I'm going to make an apple pie, and one avocado, and some blueberries were a pretty decent price, which has been hard to come by lately, although I do feel like the price has been hopefully getting better. So you guys, I just realized I did that previous shot where I was putting away the dishes with my shirt kind of untucked. It's been pretty cool here for May. And I had this light sweater, which is fine, but it is cropped, and I don't know, I just like to have a tank underneath of it. So I had this tank, and I had my shirt untucked, like the tank untucked underneath. So I'm sure as I was putting dishes away, it looked kind of sloppy. Forgive me for my unprofessional appearance, but things are put back together now. So this is how the outfit's supposed to be. Oh well, we're good enough friends, aren't we? I mean, you know, I can make slip-ups like that sometimes, right? You know, I got one other thing I want to show you today before I have my lunch, and like I said, head out for a little bit for the coffee shop, but let me show you. All right, do you guys see that? I apologize if it's pretty shaky here, but I had to get Elmo a little ramp for his chair. Basically, it got to the point where you couldn't hop up here consistently without this little ramp, so I got it from Amazon. And if you guys are interested, I'll try to leave it linked in the comments or in the description down below. But I just got this shipped in yesterday, and it took a while for it to expand because it was in one of those like vacuum sealed packaging. So they said give it 24 to 48 hours. Well, 12 hours to be truthfully honest, seemed to do a pretty good job. And he has used it a couple times today. Initially, to get him broke into this, I just gave him little treats and kind of worked his way up the steps and had him come all the way up. Worked great, and then he did it on his own later before we left for the morning. So so far I'm very happy with this purchase, and I hope to see that he continues to use this because for the last week or so he wasn't getting into his chair nearly as much as he used to. Like, it was a regular thing for him to be in his chair every morning, and typically he always goes there every time when we go to leave the house as well. That's just one of those things, like this is his safe spot, so to speak. And then I noticed after I washed his pillows and everything, which I've done before plenty of times, so that was nothing exceptionally new or anything, but I could just tell that he hadn't gotten on there because the pillows were obviously still really fluffed and everything like that. But yep, hopefully this helps him, and yeah, it's sad, he's aging, but aren't we all? All right, so for lunch, I am just reheating some leftovers. I made this Parmesan crusted chicken. Actually, I can never get the exact name of it. The recipe is really simple. Basically, you take cornflake crust or crumbled cornflakes. Gee, I wish I could talk. You take the crumbled cornflake. Why can I not say that? Crushed cornflakes. There, that came out easier. Get the crushed corn flakes, Parmesan cheese, and ranch seasoning. And basically, I don't even measure anymore, but basically you just season that however you like. I try to do just about equal parts, at least of the Parmesan and the corn flakes. And then, you know, the ranch kind of as you prefer. And then what else do I do? Oh, butter, get some melted butter. And you take those first 3 ingredients I said, crushed corn flakes, the Parmesan, ranch, seasoning, mix that all together. Make sure it's the seasoning, not salad dressing. You don't want the liquid form of ranch. Mix those all together. Take your melted butter and dip your chicken first in the butter, and then dip it in the dry crumb mixture and everything like that. Pop it in the oven, and however long your chicken takes to cook based on how thick it is, and there you go, you have it. And it's a crowd pleaser. It hits every time. So I just have a bit of that left. So I'm just gonna cut this up, and then I'm also gonna get some of these leftover seasoned potatoes. I just kind of threw a bunch of seasoning together. Normally I would take like a French onion seasoning pack and maybe add a little bit more spices to that, but I didn't have that, so I don't know, I just mixed a bunch of things together. And as I've been saying, my husband and I have still been really going through the fresh cut veggies, so I just have a mixture here, some cauliflower, some cucumbers, these are the English cucumbers, yellow pepper, and a few carrots left. So I'll pick a few of these, and that will be lunch. All right, and bon appetit. Okay, so I've left the coffee shop, and it's a shame because I actually really enjoyed the environment there, and the problem was I forgot my earbuds, and so I couldn't get as much work done. And then what I did get done, which you guys weren't able to see, was I was making an Instagram post. So I was filming it on my phone, and I needed my phone for the Instagram post, or at least I prefer to use my phone for posting on Instagram. I don't know, maybe some people do it with their laptop, but that's just not me. All that to say, I do want to run to the library, and I feel like there's something else I was going to tell you, but I am returning this book. So this is A Heart Adrift by Laura France, and I really enjoyed it. However, this is a historical fiction, by the way, which is one of the things that I really enjoy. It has a little romance in it. Actually, that's the main plot of it, or the main storyline. But the problem I do have a lot of times with these books, not all of them, but a good portion of them, is they spend so much time like building up the story that then when it comes time to actually ending the story, I feel like they just cut it off. And this wasn't terrible on that count, but it was kind of a rushed ending. I felt like I would just like to spend a little bit more of the ending in a little bit longer of a happy time, where you get to see a little bit further of an extent of how the main characters, enjoy their time, because a lot of it, there's some action, there's some drama, there's some other things going on, some suspense, I guess, maybe even. And so I just like to see a little bit more of the happy time. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it doesn't keep other readers like intrigued or something like that. But I just feel like that's something I feel like is missing in a lot of the kind of books that I like to read. By the way, I don't know if you guys can see this either, but another problem I was having in the coffee shop, and I'm still having actually, is I feel like I have an eyelash in my eye or something of that nature. And when that happens, I have very sensitive eyes. So it's not like I'm one of those people that can just like dig my finger in there and get it out. No, it pretty much has to water out for however long, and eventually it'll go away. I may end up taking this makeup off sooner rather than later, because I feel like I'm going to have mascara running down, or I'm just going to be like rubbing things in the way I shouldn't be, but we'll see. All right, so I think I mentioned this, that I was going to make an apple pie today. I haven't made any sweets in a long time. I'm kind of itching to make a few sweets. And it was between that and chocolate chip cookies. And I thought my husband would vote for this one. He initially left it up to me. And then he's like, well, what about an apple pie? We have some vanilla ice cream to use with it. And I was like, okay. I was already planning on that kind of because I thought he would like that. But these sleeves, you guys, can't make an apple pie with these sleeves. So I got these giant rubber bands that had come from like I think like a rug that I gotten. I'm just gonna put them around there and pull my sleeves up, okay? I've done this before, so. Now I know everybody probably has a different little variation on the crust recipe, and I used what my mom had given me. She wrote down her recipe. However, I learned that that was really not an accurate measurement because she just doesn't measure her stuff. She just eyeballs a lot of things. So I'm lucky if she actually takes the measurements when she writes it down. So I have to ask and verify. She initially called for 4 cups of flour, but I just found like I don't need 4 cups of flour. I think 3 will be fine. Do a pie shell, a top and a bottom. So 3 cups there. And then she calls for 1 tablespoon of sugar and 1 teaspoon of salt, which I am going to follow those. I think that's a pretty good estimate on that. If not, you know, it's just for my husband and I, not the end of the world. And I tried to pull out everything that we need, and I say I accidentally grabbed the potato masher. Not what we need here. So now I got the pie cutter. I don't know, I think I need a new one of these, but I never think of it until I'm like trying to make a pie crust or something like that, because this just spins and it actually ends up hurting my fingers, my hand a little bit. And then the next thing I'm going to go in with is Crisco. And some of you, I know a lot of people probably do butter. That's fine, great, good for you. But I will say, I made this recipe once and I had an Italian neighbor and I asked him if he liked it, if it was good enough to give my mom for, no, actually, I just asked him if he liked it. I had already given it to my mom before. I made 2 pies. And he said this was as good as his own mother's recipe, if not better. And I was like, what? Come again? I don't know about you, but when I think of Italians, like old school Italian families, they really treasure their mothers. And so that was like the highest compliment. Now, what did my mom's recipe call for? She originally called for 2 cups of this, and I don't even know that I have 2 cups, but that's okay because I have learned since then that 2 cups is too much. So I just eyeballed this, going with my mom's type of feeling, and I just want to get pea-sized amounts, pea-sized crumb. And I think I'm actually going to go ahead and add the rest of this Crisco stuff. So oh, my husband's home. I was going to try to get this done before, or get it in the oven before he got home. Next step though is going to be to add some cold water. Now you can use ice cold water, like with ice chips in there. I'm just gonna get very cold tap water. Would I ideally like maybe a little bit more of the fattening, the Crisco in here? Yes, but this is what I have and we're gonna make it work. All right, I've added some water to this cold water as I was stating earlier, and I don't know how much I added, to be truthfully honest. I just added, squeezed a little bit, seeing how it came together, and add some more, continue to do that process several times. So I'm gonna take a little bit more than half, about 2/3 of this, because I find like the bottom crust, I actually need more than the top. And I'm going to work on rolling this out. I think I need some flour. Yeah, I do need flour. I really don't make pie crust all that often. So it's not something like I'm super confident in, but I do like the idea of making my own crust rather than buying store-bought. Could I do that? Yes. But there's something just very satisfying about knowing that you have the skills to do it yourself. All right, I have 6 cut up Granny Smith apples. I have 3/4 of a cup of sugar. I have some nutmeg, some cinnamon, and salt, and a heaping fourth cup of flour. And I'm just gonna mix this up with my hands. And then take about 2 tablespoons of butter. And I'm just gonna kind of place that throughout. Sometimes I almost forget this step. And after I put the crust on and I cut the slits in the crust, I'm like going back and trying to shove the butter underneath that. All right, while the pie is in the oven, I do want to look over this sewing book. It was my great-grandmother's home ec book, I guess. She was born in 1918, and I was helping my grandmother clean out her attic some, and we came across this, and so I'm just excited to look through it and see what there is. I am very fortunate, I will say, to have known my great-grandmother for quite some time. I was 27 when she passed away, so I felt like I had a lot of quality years with her. But something I was thinking about when I was looking through this book, she was in high school, more than likely, when she was writing this book, when she was forming it and everything like that. And I thought about her own experiences. She was 16, I was told, when her mother passed away, and 19 when her father passed away. And just as I was looking through this, I was wondering, you know, was her mother still alive at this point, or had she recently passed, or had it been a year or two? When I think of all the hardships that my great-grandmother went through, you know, she was part of the greatest generation. She lived through the Great Depression and through World War II, and, well, even through part of World War I, but she was really little then. But, you know, she was an adult through World War II. And just seen a lot of things. She had a couple miscarriages herself, had one child that lived to adulthood, my grandmother, and she never complained. She never dwelt on those things that had happened to her, and she just moved on and enjoyed what she was given and enjoyed the blessings that she did have. And ta-da! This is the result. I'm just gonna poke it here just to make sure that the apples feel like they're, you know, soft enough. So far, everything feels pretty good. I sliced the apples pretty thin, so I think we're good. Is it the absolute most aesthetic top? No, I didn't do my best work on that, but that's okay. It's just for my husband and I am sure it's gonna taste good. Alright, so I am going to get a shower here. It's not hair washing day, but I am going to get Elmo bathed. I think I've said this before, it's just easier just taking him in the shower with me. He's pretty calm when I do it that way. Otherwise, when I try to give him a bath, like just me being outside the bathtub, it doesn't work the greatest. I mean, I can get it done, I can do it that way. It's easier when we're both in the shower. You ready to go out, buddy? You ready to go out? Okay. What you doing? Are you a wet boy? Are you a wet boy? Shall we fix your ear? Shall we fix your ear? Where you going? You a little tease? Yeah, you a little tease. You're a silly boy. Yeah, you're a silly boy. Alright, so are we ready to cut into this? I will say she has sunk down quite a bit since she's cooled. I'm not really surprised. I've only made 1 or 2 pies in this deeper cast iron dish. I'm used to my smaller, more shallow glass dishes. So I should have just added the additional apples that I already had. But you know, you live and learn, and I'll try to remember that for next time. The first piece is always usually the most difficult to get out. Oh, that looks good. Unfortunately, I also see that I left some of mine behind down here. I guess I didn't cut it quite all the way through. There, my hubby's piece looks a little prettier than mine does, but that's okay. It's gonna taste the same. Here's a rogue apple. See how good it is. Really good. But I will say, I think I actually like pie a little bit better like the day 2 or day 3. I don't know, like the crust has just had a little bit of time to soften, and I think that's why I like it better a few days later. So, all right, guys, thank you for joining me on this vlog. I really appreciate you coming along for just a simple day in my life. I feel like it's been a while since I've done just a single day in my life, so I thought we'd bring it back. And I hope you enjoyed it, and until I see you again in the next video, have a wonderful day. Bye, friends.